I'll admit, if capital punishment ever was outlawed, this game would be the next fitting punishment for major criminals. However, this game also provides an interesting study on human emotions and humanity itself. So, let's get into that. Hey, what's going on, geeks? Maxusthebeast is here, and welcome to, well, something a bit really different. The game in question, I'm sure most of you know. Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. I know I'm definitely late to the party, and I'm sure somebody else out there far more intelligent than myself has already made a thorough, in-depth psychological study on the effects that this game has on people. However, from what I've noticed from watching YouTubers, and from watching my own reactions to certain scenarios presented by the game, it's given me a unique outlook on the human condition and on humanity itself, and how a game so simple in concept can bring out so many different feelings in humans. It's something absolutely incredible. And yes, it is definitely frustrating. And just a heads up, the majority of this footage is going to be me either trying to get up the most minuscule amount of progress or get over one obstacle, because this one obstacle has been in the bane of my existence for over a year now. I kid you not, I've been trying for a year to get over one segment, because I'm not really good at this game, if I can't make that clear enough. So, continuing on. For those who do not know, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy is considered a B game. It is one of the more lesser-known genres and has among the fewest games in it. It is basically a game where, as Bennett Foddy himself describes, that is more fun putting the things together than playing, because they are typically incredibly difficult and incredibly frustrating. Because the way they are designed is like in most games that are level-based or a world is being set up and obstacles are put into place, the obstacles are meant to be overcome with a basic solution. And the world is laid out like an actual world. With a B game, however, it is an amalgamation of random assets that the creator of the B game just jumbles together in whatever order they want it to be. And none of the objects have to make sense, which is why there's things like paddles sticking out from rocks, random houses stuck in between boulders. And as the game progresses, you see things like chairs stacked on top of grills, sofas hanging around, dangling around from sliding boards. It's a bunch of random assets that have no right being where they are, being, well, put where they are. It's not supposed to make sense. But you're supposed to somehow, as the game's title suggests, get over it. However, I'm going to offer an additional, or actually before I get into the whole psyche of this, let's continue talking about the game itself. So, while you're playing the game, you might notice the subtitles and, earlier on, a little bit of commentary from Bennett Foddy. But as you continuously play the game and progress, Bennett Foddy provides commentary talking about not only just the premise of the game and his experiences putting it together, but also the history of B games, and also provide some insight to your reactions that you may be facing through all the frustration. And by far one of the more frustrating things about the game is that every time you slip up, there's a chance that Bennett Foddy will just cut in and say, "Oops, sorry about that," or "Oops, that had to hurt," or something like that. Which is supposed to sound apologetic, but We all know it sounds, well, it sounds like he's making a mockery of us, which he probably is. But the purpose of a B game is to accomplish an incredibly difficult task. It's not easy. There's no checkpoints. The game only saves whenever you leave it. So that means it's exit save only. And when you rejoin, unless you leave the second you rejoin in the game, that progress, there's no manual way to save the game. Meaning wherever you leave, you'll restart at. And if you lose progress and leave the game, like rage quit, you'll be right back where you were when you rejoin. There's no checkpoints, and there's no manual saves. There's no reloading a game. So wherever you are, no matter if you got farther than where you were before you quit, or if you got thrown back to the very beginning of the game and you quit, you're right back there, which adds to the frustration of going back in time, of failing. It adds to the failure. This game is incredibly frustrating. And it's one of the few games that has ever gotten me to the point where I've literally had to back away from the gaming setup, take my headset off, and just leave the room and just do something else for an extended period of time. It is incredibly frustrating. Especially when you do the exact same motion over and over and over again to the point where you feel like you got it down pat. But then the situation presents itself again and you can't get over the very basic scenario again. It's very frustrating, very obnoxious, and there's a disclaimer at the very start that says if you've been having a bad day, feel free to turn away now and come back when you feel better. Because he knows it's going to be frustrating. Bennett Foddy, the creator, knows it's going to be incredibly annoying. It's going to frustrate the daylights out of you. And it is not for it's not for people who rage easily. However, in my case, it turns somebody who's typically very calm when playing video games and turns them into a raging mess. Remember those videos that did talk about bad day syndrome a while back? Yeah, this game, you'll need to apply some of that old advice. Not trying to plug my own content or anything, just, trying to make a comparison. But here is where we go into a bit more of a psychological evaluation of this game. The game's title? Getting Over It. You might be thinking that's just, well, there's this giant mountain of random materials and random assets. You're trying to get over this estranged amalgamation of obstacles, right? That's why it's called Getting Over It. And partially so. But I like to think that it's not just being called Getting Over It because of obstacles, or at least because of quote-unquote physical obstacles, but emotional ones as well. It's getting over rage. It's getting over anger. And the reactions that I've seen and the emotions I felt while playing this game takes me through most of the primitive emotions a human can feel. One moment you'll be feeling happiness, just pure joy that you finally got through a part that you never thought you would be able to get through. And then sadness, when your progress is instantly or nearly ripped from you, and you're sent back down to either square one or a place far, far from where you were, that you've already spent a lot of time trying to complete, where that sense of accomplishment you've been working towards just is snap of a finger, it's gone. Everything you've worked so hard for, gone. And like I said earlier, it's not like you can just reload a previous save. What you did earlier, that progress is 100% erased. And sometimes the sadness leads to anger. It feels like the sadness can go from like he describes, a punch in the gut, and then it makes you turn into a freaking demon because of how mad you get, because of losing progress, because of falling over and over, and it's the repetition of failure that just messes with your mind. It's incredibly rage-inducing. It's incredibly frustrating, to where it gets to the point where you forget what happiness is, what accomplishment is, because you're so used to failing that it's like, what's the point anymore? I'm just gonna fall off. All this accomplishment is for nothing, because what do I get out of this? What is the point of this? Where do I get from this? Nowhere. I'm just gonna get over this obstacle only to fall at the next random turn. At the next drop off, I'm gonna fall back to the very start. I'm gonna have to do all of this all over again. What's the point? And it gets you into that mindset where it just breaks you. It brings out all these primitive emotions that in your everyday life you more than likely will not experience. Because more than likely in a day, you'll experience frustration at things, you'll experience sadness at things, and you'll experience happiness at things. But there are few experiences on a day-to-day life where you'll experience the level of the gut punch that you feel at falling, the happiness you feel, and the satisfaction you feel after completing a strange obstacle, and the sadness you feel, the bone-crushing sadness that overwhelms you when all your progress has been overwhelmed and sent back to square one over and over and over again, where it feels like you have no hope, where there's nothing you can do, because everything you do will just get you back to square one. But yet, for some reason, you keep trying. This game is a testament to human dedication and determination. The willpower that some humans, that a lot of us want to say that we have, to get through a strange amount of obstacles, to overcome an absolutely insane, literal mountain of depression, of frustration, and of sorrow, and of trials. This game is a testament to human willpower, showing you how far you are willing to go to complete something. And here's the thing. You're not even allowed to show the ending on YouTube or any other site. You're not allowed to broadcast it on Twitch. You're not allowed to post it on YouTube. You're not allowed to screenshot it and post it on Twitter, Steam activity page, Instagram, social media, whatever. Because the biggest satisfaction of this is showing that you had the guts, you had the determination to pull through all of this game's bullcrap and get through it. You got over it. You completed this game. And now it's only up to you and you alone. You alone get to experience this. This is your victory. But you should not spoil this accomplishment for other people, because it's something that they will have to work towards. This game is a fight against yourself more than anything else. It's your determination against your determination. It's determination against frustration. It's determination against depression. It's determination against sorrow. It's a true testament and testimony to the willpower that we have to complete a task. And some people don't have it. And that's okay. Some people will give up. Some people will stop trying because the game is just so gut-wrenchingly difficult and so frustrating that they just can't deal with it anymore. And that's fine. This game wasn't built for everybody. There's a reason why B games are one of the most underrated and underused genres of games, because nobody makes them, because they're so incredibly frustrating. Because very few people have the guts and have the determination to pull through. And don't take me saying that they don't have the guts as an insult or as me demeaning anybody. By me saying, oh, look at these peasants. They can't deal with this game. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a true testimony, a true testament to human dedication. I'm not saying because you don't have the guts that you're subhuman, that you're not as good of a human as somebody who has completed this game. Heck, I haven't gotten through this game. I've had to take I took a literal year-long break from this game, only to jump back into it for the sole purpose of getting footage for this video. Okay? That's why I got this footage. And let me tell you, I remember the second I got to this part, why I quit. It's a difficult game. It will throw you back to square one over and over and over again. I didn't have the guts. And I still am questioning whether I have the willpower to get through it. Because after this video, I'm like, I don't know if I want to even try to play this game again. Because in the 30-some minutes I played trying to get this footage, I was just going crazy. For the first, 10 or so, even with failure, I'm like, okay, I can get through this. But then I kid you not, it's 15 minutes of me getting stuck up on the obstacle ahead. It's 50 minutes of just pure chaos. Of me just trying to get over this one obstacle and I could not do it. It's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of failures and falling like this. But there are people that regardless of the rage, regardless of seeing no logical explanation and purpose, the true purpose is discovering determination. Is to show that I had the willpower to willingly put myself through this literal torture device, and I overcame it. Honestly, I think that this game should be used for people who have done massive crimes and are jailed. This game should be used, just played by criminals who are serving their life sentence. Like, hey, here's something for you to do. Play this insane game where nothing you do matters, where all progress can be reset in a blink of an eye. Everything you do doesn't matter. Nothing you do matters. Because your progress can be torn from you in a blink of an eye. It'll drive people crazy. But honestly, if you have a life sentence, you're not really getting out anyway. But that's my thoughts on the true or maybe true purpose of this game. Like I said, I don't personally think I have the guts and the strength to persevere through this game again. But I have a strong admiration for those who do. And if you have completed this game, I know that you more likely will not spoil it, but I please ask that you keep the spoiler. That you do not spoil the ending for me. Because although I more than likely will never actually reach it, I still want that little bit of mystery. The little bit of, I wonder what happens if you actually complete this game. I still want that bit of mystery in case I ever do decide to muster up the courage and give this game one final go. So please, if you've completed this game, keep it to yourself. That way, not only will I not be spoiled, but the accomplishment will not be ruined for anybody else watching this video in the comments. I know this is definitely a very different video than what I normally would do, but I've been watching a lot of Getting It Over It fail compilations on YouTube, and I've seen so many emotions come into play, which got me to start thinking about the human condition, about us as people, and about emotions themselves. I hope you enjoyed, guys. Like I said, this is something very different. And I don't know when the next time I'll be making something as obscure as this. But if you did enjoy it, please let me know, and I might consider making another one in the future. Because I enjoy going into these probing subjects such as emotions and the way a game sometimes challenges us mentally. It's interesting. And I honestly think that a lot of times video games can be a tool to teach us things about not only the world around us, not only about various things, like some games teach us moral decisions. Some games teach us about history. Others, like this game, teach us about ourselves. And while these games definitely are a great teaching tool, I definitely think it's fun to just think about how they are a teaching tool. To look into it. To see through the disguise of, oh, this game is just a really difficult game for no reason. It's just for the fun of just watching people suffer. To some, that could be what it is. But my interpretation is that this game is used for something more than just human suffering. My interpretation, like I keep saying, is that it is a testament and testimony for determination and for human willpower. Because time and time again, we as a human race have proved that we are capable of pretty much anything we set our minds to. Be that good or be that bad. If we have enough willpower, if we truly want to do something and set our minds to it, I believe we can accomplish it. And the same goes, and the same logic applies here. I know we just basically just backtracked back into the main purpose of the video again when I was trying to do an outro. See how this game just makes me think? I like thinking. Okay, that was a bit random. I know. But guys, once again, thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, Maxusthebeast is out.